So are you saying that if you worked in car sales that you would be the best car salesman on the lot?
I've always said I would be the worst car salesman. I'm terrible at it, but for some reason, I'm a decent recruiter. I don't know, but I've been fortunate to land some kids. I sometimes, if you're in a great situation, it's easier to recruit. When you're in a tough situation, it's harder to recruit. You have to put more time into the harder situation. It takes more time, but I've always said it's a big enough world. Surely we could find 10 to 15 good players somewhere in this world to come to West Virginia Tech, to come to Glenville State, to come to Jefferson Community College, to come to Fork Union Military Academy.
Absolutely. So how's the team looking this year? Tell us about the team that's Fork Union. Your season practices probably has started, but if it hasn't, when it does, how are we looking, Coach?
Well, it's hard to say how we're looking because I haven't coached on this level, so I don't have anything to compare it to. But I'm very happy with the young men that we have. We have 11 players. And, I didn't recruit any of them, and there was a coaching change last minute right before school started. And so the players and their families are very concerned, but the transition's been very smooth with the previous coach, Seth Wilson, here at Fork Union. He's done a great job. He did a great job recruiting these young men. They seemed like nice kids. And it's the earliest I've ever started practice. And our first practice was August 17th. So, I mean, they want us to keep the kids busy, the cadets busy. As soon as they get here, they want us to keep them busy. And so we were like, okay, let's start practicing. And so I guess they've always started practicing or training our gym floor. So we've had 6 official practices and 1 day of just full individual workouts. And then we took 1 day off. What's today? Thursday. We took a day off Tuesday, and yesterday we got in the weight room. Our gym floor is being refinished, putting the new 3-point line on. We play by college rules in the PG level, so they moved the 3-point line out this year for small colleges and preps. And then so we're in the weight room for a few days while they finish the floor, and then we'll do some outdoor conditioning. We do have an extra field house here. We'll get in there and do some drill work skills and stuff like that, and then we'll get back on the main floor next week and start scrimmages in early October, and then games will start near the end of October, November. But good group of guys. A lot of them are from the East. They're from the East Coast and Richmond, Virginia. We have one from New York City. From Durham, North Carolina, and in this area. So, we have a couple kids that were military kids where they've traveled all over. One kid yesterday, I just found out he was in Italy for 2 years while his dad was stationed there, and was fortunate. Some of these kids have been fortunate to travel around the world and travel around the country and go to different places. But they've bought in. It took maybe 1 day. They were trying to figure out who's this old short guy that's yelling at us, and telling us what to do. And kids nowadays are a little sensitive. It's a different world than when we went to school, And the coach used to say, "You run through the wall." You just ran through the wall. You didn't ask why. Now you got to explain why nowadays. Why you're going to run through the wall.
Or if they're not yelling at you, you're like, "Oh God, I'm getting cut."
But they're good kids, and they've been working very hard, and they're very hungry because they're driven. And it's not like at West Virginia Tech, if you're on a partial scholarship and you're from Wyoming County or something, you can quit the team anytime you want, stay in school. Here, you can't quit the team and stay in school. You're on a scholarship, and it's a very major commitment from the family, to send your child here financially and just to a military school kind of in an isolated area. And the parents aren't allowed to have any contact with the cadets for the first 3 weeks, I believe.
Okay.
Here, so it's the first few days. Last week there was some homesickness, I think, and some guys questioning why did I end up here, or what the classes are harder. And I said, guys, it's going to be harder. The classes are supposed to be harder than high school, and when you get to college, it's going to be harder. That's just the way the academic system is set up in this country. But this week they've been better. The team is starting to gel with chemistry because there's only 11 PG basketball players out of 300 cadets on campus. And so they're together all the time. You know, they eat together. They live in the same area in the barracks. And but they're really coming along, and it's been a joy so far to get to know them.
Is your point guard bigger than 5'5", and do you let him shoot?
That's great. I love it. But yeah, he's one's 6'1", the other one's 5'9". And yeah, today you have to let the point guard shoot. That's a big,
have to.
That's the key position. I'm glad you said that, because if you could be great at the shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center positions, if you don't have a point guard, you're not going to win games.
Right.
Because that's the quarterback on the floor, and it's the most important position on the court. And that's your floor leader. And so they've got to be able to set the table, run the offense, play great defense, do what the coach wants, get people in the right positions, as well as score the basketball when it's needed.
Color me surprised. The ex-point guard saying the point guard is the most important position on the floor. Who would have thought it?
That's right.
No, but it's actually a fair question, fair thing to talk about, because like, look, the center used to be the spot. You know, it's all about getting down to your big man, high percentage shots, get him underneath the basket, get him on the boards. You know, as many chances as possible for the big guy. And now it seems that it's transitioned more from what's spread it out. We want speed and size around the perimeter and just leave the inside pretty open. And now the center is basically in charge of setting screens and being more the role player. So, I mean, the evolution of the game, how hard is it to keep up on over, you know, you've done it for a couple years now. So, I mean, how have you handled, and what is your take on the evolution of the game of basketball over the last 10 years?
Well, the three-point shot has changed the game along with the shot clock. But I like the changes. But I'm still old school. We will post up. We will pound it inside. I'll do that to my grave. And I just believe in getting the ball in the high percentage areas, inside, outside. We play inside, outside. And I told the team that in our first practice, and they were shaking their heads saying that's good, because we'll play against some of the younger coaches, the newer wave coaches. They'll never post up. We might go 3 games. You know, when I was at West Virginia Tech my last few years there, we would go 3 games, 4 games without defending the post. And they're 5 out constantly. And that's kind of like the new wave. But when they guard us, they're defending the post. And then, so we're putting our good players in there, our bigs, but also our big guards posting up. And sometimes your big guards have the best post moves, or a guard does, you know, and they're just natural, but they're, you know, 6'4" or whatever. So we'll throw them in there, try to get one-on-one in the post, get to the rim. If they force a double team, that's where we get the ball outside and find the open man and shoot the threes.
No, I actually, well, I'm a Cavs fan, as a Cleveland everything, as you can see. And they kind of went more to the big man approach. And I like it, because that's competitive advantage, because that's going to be a matchup problem for a lot of teams, because they don't, like you said, they don't even practice it. So even though, or use it, so it's hard for them to get better at guarding it in practice, because they don't have anybody to make them better in practice in the post play. So I actually like the strategy, and you know, it's like this, you know, right now it's no centers, then it'll be, you know, big on centers. Everyone's always trying to keep things going. So maybe the nice, just steady way is the way to go about it. We'll find out this year though, down at Fork Union. So prep schedule. When does it start? When does it finish? Is there championships? What do you play for? Is it just record scholarships? You know, what? There's some kind of championship, I'm sure. How does the season work at Fork Union?
I'm still learning about all that stuff, and I'm still working on our schedule.
Okay.
I hope to have it done in a couple of weeks, but you know, the previous coach had a schedule, but there was different things going on, with possibility of going into a conference. We're not in a conference, so we're basically independent. We'll play teams. We'll play other postgraduate teams. There's Hargrave Military is in Virginia, and Massanutten Military Academy. Those are really strong basketball programs, and we'll play them, and then play in their tournament, or they'll play in our tournament, and then we'll play some JV college teams in Virginia. And then I called the University of North Carolina JV, you know, coach the other day. Dean Smith and maybe before Dean Smith, Frank McGuire, they always had JV teams at North Carolina, and I'm assuming they still do. I'm waiting for a call back. I've called twice, and I would love to take my team down to Chapel Hill and play the JV team. And I know Fletcher Arrett has Fletcher Arrett. By the way, we need to mention his name because what a legendary coach at Fork Union for 4 decades,
Wow.
800 plus wins, countless Division I players, several NBA players that have come out of Fork Union because of that man. And I got to know him very well because he was from Fayette County, West Virginia, where
Okay.
I lived and coached, West Virginia Tech for many years. And I'm still friends with his brother, John Arrett, and who came to a lot of our games at West Virginia Tech. And Fletcher was not only a great basketball coach and a great ambassador for Fork Union Military Academy, but he was a tremendous person above all else. He passed away 2 months ago. And but he was the coach here up until 2012. And but what a tremendous man. So we have to mention him. And I'm trying to do is run the program as best my ability as Fletcher did. And I will be asking myself questions, what would Coach Arrett do in this situation? And what a great man he was, and be missed, dearly. But we're excited. We'll start scrimmaging, like I said earlier, in October, and then games. We might even play a real game in October. I'm not sure yet, and then November. And we're trying to. As far as championships, we aren't in a league, but we do. There was a national prep championship. I think they just called it that in Connecticut, but I don't know if they didn't have it maybe last year because of the pandemic, and I'm not sure. We haven't heard anything about it this year. I know the coaches previous to me and Coach Arrett used to. They actually made a yearly trip to Cleveland, and as well as Connecticut, and we play in Annapolis, Maryland. We'll play the Navy prep team, and we'll play the Navy JV team. Eventually we'll get to Florida at some point, play IMG down there probably, and some other schools. And we could have a matchup with Oak Hill Academy, which is more of a high school team, like them and Montverde or in Huntington Prep. Those are powerhouse, but considered high school. The kids are still in high school, but I don't mind playing those teams too.
They're pretty good.
I think the most important thing is not really the schedule, or not really the win-loss record here, but getting players better, getting them exposed to NCAA schools, getting them recruited, getting them offered scholarships, and then getting them better and getting them ready to go to college academically and basketball wise.
Well, Coach, it sounds like you got quite the task this year with your whole week and a half here to get acclimated. So it looks like it's going to be a learning curve for you. I'm sure you're super excited, though, especially coming off, you said, like a two-year break during what was perfect timing on your part. So I'm sure you got that, Jefferson County energy back in you down here, just getting ready to whip everybody into shape. We certainly appreciate you stopping by here. Appreciate your time. Obviously, you're super busy with getting everything started down there. We're definitely going to keep tabs on Fork Union this year and yourself, and hopefully we can get you back on at a later time in mid-season. We can talk about how you guys are just absolutely killing it down there, and everything's just going so well. I'm sure you're going to do great. Sounds like you're prepared perfectly for this job with your experience. And hey, if you can do Glenville and West Virginia Tech and some of these other places, you can definitely do Fork Union. You were bred for this, man. But well, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Tony, for having me on. And one suggestion, maybe someday we can have you, myself, and Jeff Williamson on.
Yes.
In a 3-way interview. That would be a lot of fun, I'm sure.
He can talk to you about his Garden City Buffaloes team out there and how many players he can send you, and how there's going to be like, the best there is.
Yeah, Jeff's a beauty.
He's a one of a kind. I love him.
Yes, sir.
You have any good stories?
We'll better save those for off air or another time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, dudes, dudettes, Bob Williams, Fork Union Military Academy head coach. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you for having me on, Tony. Have a good day.
You too.